Hey there. So today we're chatting with Unica, and we have some questions prepared for her. Could you tell us a little bit more about what sparked your interest in product management, and really what was that one thing that helped you prepare for your current role or any of your previous roles in product management?
Yeah, I guess I can give a little backstory before on what sparked my interest in PM. I was actually a recruiter in the past, and that's actually how I found out about product management. Is because at that time when I was a recruiter, we were looking for product designers, product marketers, product managers, and I didn't even know that the role existed at that time. So I looked into it. I'm like, okay, this sounds more interesting. um, and so I did more research and then I became a product manager fellow at a startup. And that's where I got to learn more about what being a PM is. And then I started applying for PM internships. I started reading newsletters, resources, watching YouTube videos, watching other product managers, looking at product managers' LinkedIn profiles. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. So I did a bunch of studying, I think for about a year. And then I started applying for internships to get like, just you want to build in, I wanted to build in some product experience. So of course, you apply for like 100, you get rejected to 99, but then you get accepted to that at least that one job always gives you that offer. So yeah, I did get that PM internship offer from Kernel Labs. It's a Seattle startup incubator. Um, and basically it's a company where you build companies, right? It's to build companies that disrupt markets. And so at that time when I was a PM intern, my focus was a lot on 3D, building a 3D immersive platform. So a lot of my role at that time was about designing the product from scratch. And but otherwise, to answer the question on what helped me prepare for the role, it's actually through passion project experience. I love building products from ideation to execution. I think that's what sparked more of my interest in being a product manager, is because even before being a recruiter, I always love building stuff, designing stuff, DIY projects. That experience alone kind of helped me prepare to become a product manager. And happy to share more on that, but that's kind of the general brief of what sparked my interest.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that product management skills really overlap with what it takes to be a founder, really seeing that big picture view of something and being able to lead a team 0 to 1. So that's amazing. So could you tell us a little bit more about the product management internship that you had at Kernel Labs? What did you do day to day?
Yeah, on a day to day, I basically conduct user research because we're wanting to put the product out there in the market and trying to figure out who would use a product and who is in need of the product. So we do a lot of conducting user interviews, building user personas, designing templates, 3D templates. So at that time, I had no idea what this product is about, but you start to work and collaborate a lot with engineers, developers, understanding their language and how the business and product development kind of interconnects with it. And so it was really interesting to kind of work with different people who have very, very different skills, because I don't have any coding background. And also, FYI, being a product manager, you don't have to have coding background, because every PM is different. Every PM can be focused a lot more on design, on growth marketing, on technical pieces. Actually, with this PM internship, it was a mixture of all of them, because I did work on some technical functions, because there's certain errors in the product that we need to kind of improve on. So how do you fix that? I use Figma, I use Canva, I use different tools based on the product that we're working on. But most of the time, it's a lot of crafting. I think being a PM, you need to know how to craft. And it takes time, but everything is all about trying new things, experimenting, testing new ideas. But a lot of times, yeah, market research, user research. I think that's like the main thing. If anything else, most of the times it's a lot of cross functional collaboration, reaching out to different target groups. So it was really fun. It was very innovative, and I definitely learned a lot from the startup.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. It does sound like you were wearing a lot of hats, and that's exactly what a product manager is expected to do every day. So that's awesome. So after that experience, has your perception of product management changed, or how has that evolved over time for you? And what do you think it takes to be a product manager?
What it takes to be a PM, though, there's going to be a lot of ambiguity. Most of the jobs people are in right now, they have structure, right? But being a PM, sometimes you need to build that structure, you need to build that discipline. You also need to be passionate about problems that you're working towards. Um, Being a PM, you need to know that, okay, if you're building something, who's dealing with this problem, who needs this service, who needs this product. You need to be the initiator, you need to be the navigator. So I work with engineers and developers, right? And they don't know anything about business, they don't know anything about marketing, they don't know anything about market research or user personas. So basically I come in and tell them, okay, here are the people who need this and here are the people who don't. We want to make sure we market at the right place, the right marketplace. And you need to be able to collaborate with different people, have those effective communication leadership skills, time management skills, because I'm sure everyone knows being a PM, there's going to be tons of meetings. And sometimes meetings you have to initiate and set, and not be afraid to share opinions that you think may be disagreed upon. I know that based on my internship, there are women product managers that I work with, and they're not afraid to say no. So the CEO, he's an engineer. He basically came up with an idea like, okay, let's do this. I think this is cool. But then these product managers are like, no. So you have to be okay with saying no and you have to give them why. So I learned a lot about like, okay, this is really cool. Like you need to be able to sometimes be okay with not agreeing with the people's ideas or inputs, but you have to make sure it's professional enough. Like, okay, why don't you agree with them? It's because XYZ. So that's what it takes to be a PM. That's
Oh, I love that answer. And I definitely agree with all of the points, especially with being able to say no. And that's, I think, where a lot of that critical thinking skills come in when you have to navigate those type of spaces, being able to provide that reasoning. And sometimes you really need to ask the right questions. In
yeah,
my
that's
experience, if I'm asking the right questions and I'm almost helping guide that person to the same answer that I might have arrived as well. So kind of that critical thinking, being able to prioritize and communicate those sort of situations with folks is what a superpower for a product manager is. So, do you have one a specific part about product management that you love the most?
being creative and innovative, sharing ideas. Because when it comes to working with people and building something new, being able to build something that we all value, that we all have the same mission, we all have the same similar mindset, and we're building something you want to see come to life. And having people use the things that you've built. I think that's the most exciting part and the most, I guess, favorite part in the journey.
And of course, we could chat about why we love product management all day, but is there one thing that is the hardest about being a product manager or being on that path for you?
At first, I think getting the idea out to the world, it took time. I think the first time when I start sharing my idea, like, yeah, I see a niche, I see a need, I see that this could actually happen. So when I start to share my story, my idea, I have people who tell me, no, that's not going to happen. It's not possible. That's impossible. That's not feasible enough. That's You're not in that leadership role, Unica. You're not in that. You're not. You're still a student. Because I was a student at that time, and I thought of this really cool big idea. It was a big idea. So, but that big idea turned into something, guys. So, I
Love
didn't
it.
let those rejections. I didn't let those naysayers stop me from pursuing my ideas. It was very discouraging. I almost gave up because I've had people like authorities. I've had people like staff members. I have people like leaders in leadership roles who even said to me, this isn't something you should pursue, Unica. This isn't something that you should do. So I've always been discouraged by that. But the one thing that got me going is actually, again, very important being a product manager is focusing on the problem. If you identify one customer, two customers, three, five, that's enough, right? I identified 280 customers. So that's saying something. Why am I giving up? Because I have 280 people fill out the survey who said, yes, we need this. So I focus on those people. I focus on people who support me. I focus on people who are clients, potential clients, right? Like, because it's needed. So, anyways, that idea is it's out there. It's called Hero. It's still continuing. I have people running it. I have people are who are interested in being a part of it, who are interested in using the resources. So don't ever let those naysayers or even higher authorities tell you no, because you know your value, you know what you value, you know what you're passionate about, and you also know that this is a need, that this idea, as long as you have the data, right? Your survey or the people you talk to on a phone, people you talk to, friends and family who need this, let that be your drive. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, honestly, I feel like neither of us would probably be here where we are right now if we said yes to those naysayers. So it's important to always remember that there will always be people who might say no to you or might try to discourage you just based on their subjective personal experience, but you really have to be true to yourself and continue pursuing what you think is the best course of action. So I love that. Awesome. And last but not least, I would love to hear your thoughts on what really helps you the most throughout the journey that you're on as a founder and a product manager.
Having the right people to go to as mentors, have those check-ins. I also, that's for being a founder. Okay, so this is very separate from being a founder and being a product manager. So being a founder, you are in that leadership role, you are overseeing the organization, so it's hard to turn to someone when you're actually the one where people turn to. So I have to go out of my way, find someone, and actually I end up finding really good people. And sometimes there are mentors who actually are also discouraging, so you have to be careful not to stick with them. You're going to have to find the right people, and there's a bunch of resources on how to find the right people, whether that's through LinkedIn, whether that's through referrals or networks, people who know you. It's good to put yourself out there so people know who you are and who they can help connect you with. So that's for me being a founder. Being a product manager, I follow a lot of PMs on LinkedIn. I read about their newsletters, their articles, about their journey. I got to hear more about their insights. I subscribe to a lot of them, and I read them every day because every day there's new content. I also follow folks on YouTube. So I think there's a lot of resource. I think what's great about internet is there's a bunch of PM resources, and I think anyone can study if you guys have the drive, the motivation, the initiative to start something new, start projects. Being a PM, it's a rewarding journey. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of that confidence, that willpower, and kind of figuring out where you want to see yourself. But there's a bunch of resources out there, and I think that's the reason why Sylv and I have decided to create a program or an online presence to help women, especially based on the research. About 30% of product managers are women. About 70% of product managers are men. So you can see that there's a gap, and we need more women in product roles because we tend to have more empathy for customers, for users, but we also bring in different perspectives and diversity. So no shame on men, by the way. Just we want to see more diversity to fill in that gap. So that's the reason why we started ProduCraft Your Story.
Thanks for your time and thanks for chatting. And
Thank
we'll
you
see
so
you the next
much. Yeah.
time. Bye.